Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Sports. Just getting everybody back together. I know last week we did the AFC football predictions, and tonight we're going to go through and do a little bit of the NFC. I know there's a lot of NFC fans, especially in my channel. Well, there's Patriot fans, and then there's, I think, if you're not a Patriot fan, there's a whole lot of NFC fans. So I see a few people jumping in here. I want to say what's up to D. Mooney, also Deathclaw. Haven't seen you in a little while. Chip Smith. Alexander Santos. We do have a special guest tonight, just to let you guys know in advance. There's Tommy, what's up? Morris, my Carolina Panther mascot, is here. He is definitely a Panther fan. Well, he likes the Panthers, he likes the Jaguars, and he likes the Bengals, but he's more of a Panther fan than anything else. So you may hear him chime in on a few of the predictions tonight. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go through each division, talk about Vegas win totals. We're going to talk about our win totals. A couple stats with the depth charts, and then we're going to go in and just get your predictions as well too. So, Tommy, are we gonna flea flicker that like button? So, and I know this time is difficult for some of our 99 Gaming fans because there's a few people watching Preacher. So I've already gotten a couple messages, Emmy and a couple other people like, Kills, you know it's 9 o'clock, but yeah, we got to prep because these streams will probably start being maybe Monday nights at 8 before Monday Night Football. So we'll figure out a time just to get everybody together, and we'll do our Monday Night Football predictions and talk about our fantasy teams and all that stuff. So 9 o'clock worked well for tonight, but in the future we may change it up a little bit. So we are going to, got a couple more people jumping in chat. Yeah, man. You know, Tommy, I don't think the Edelman injury is going to hurt the group too much. Now, if they didn't get Brandon Cooks, then I would definitely say they're going to have some issues, some serious issues. But, yeah, getting Brandon Cooks, I think, having that deep threat, if they can keep Gronk healthy, then I think we'll be in pretty good shape with the Patriots. What's up, Kel? Thanks for popping in. All right, so we do have a lot of different things. I got so many devices connected, so we may get a little bit of lag. I may have to shut down some of these things because I got stats on like 5 different devices. So hopefully that doesn't slow us down too much. Just give me a quick 999 as well if you guys can hear me coming through loud and clear. All right, we're going to shut down a few of these devices, and hopefully, I'm just going to go by memory. I think what it is I think I've got 3 iPads hooked up and an iPhone, and we're just we're drawing it all in here. So I wanted to go through the schedule with you guys, but hold on one second. We're going to pause the stream, just reset it. So give me a second to set this back up. All right, let's see if we are back. Hopefully that did it. I'm shutting down devices. I think I'm like a mad scientist here where I've got just everything and all these stats until I get them memorized. So let's cross our fingers and see if the stream, you know what, it's a small casual group anyway. So we'll give this a shot and see what happens. All right, how's that? Are we good? Let's see if we get everybody. If not, we may postpone this due to technical difficulty. Wow, Kel, you really like that bet loss. That name is not going away. I think she's going to keep it around for a while. All right, so we went at least a minute and a half without lag. All right, so I'm going to try this one more time. If you guys can hear me coming through loud and clear now at this point, just give me a quick 999, and then we're going to get into some of the predictions as long as we don't, the stream doesn't keep bugging out on us. We'll see how long it takes everybody to respond, so then I can give you an idea of the whether it's YouTube lag or whether it's something else slowing us down. There we go. Okay. I think we are. All right, we're good. We're good. All right, well, let's go through this. I think it's because, you know, when you have 3 iPads and I've got like games playing on it and everything else, maybe it's just sucking the life out of the Wi-Fi. All right, so before we get into any more delays, let's get this thing rolling. So I'm going to give you the Vegas odds, and we'll start from the top left and go left to right. I'm going to give you the win totals, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you for your prediction for the division winner. So we'll start out, and I think some of these they're a little low, to be honest with you, and usually Vegas win totals I thought are about a half a game too low, because one injury, you know, pretty much messes up your world. So Green Bay, they are predicting 10 wins for Green Bay. Chicago, 5.5 wins. Minnesota, 8.5. And Detroit, 8. Little bit interesting here. All right, so 10, 5.5, 8.5, and 8. All right, keep in mind a couple of these things. All right, so let's get over to the Los Angeles Rams. 5.5 is the prediction. San Francisco, 4.5. Seattle, 10.5. And Arizona, 8. So we're going to stop with the top 2. Anything jump out of the page, just for you guys. One, Seattle's win total is high, but they play in a super sucky division. So there is a difference between Seattle playing San Francisco twice and playing the Rams twice, and Green Bay playing Minnesota twice and Detroit twice. So I can definitely give you that. Chicago, I don't think there's going to be much issues with that. I got Green Bay over too. So I'm going to ask you, everybody, really quickly, if you can put in your prediction for Green Bay. And Chip, you hit it right on the head as well as me. I got Green Bay with 12 wins. I got them having a with Montgomery full-time in the backfield now, Jordy Nelson healthy, that wide receiving core. I don't even care who they have on defense. I got them 12-4. A lot of people got them 12-4. But what we are going to do is I'm going to pull up the schedule. We're going to have to go through, we'll go through at the end, Green Bay. I didn't go through team by team, but they could have a tough out-of-conference schedule. That might be the issue. So we'll go through and we may lower that a little bit. I'm not going to go through each team, but I will tell you that I have Detroit at 9 wins. And I've got Minnesota at 7. Minnesota got hot with Bradford. They squeaked in the playoffs. They could have, you know, with Bridgewater, I think they could have made some noise. With Dalvin Cook, running back, you got a rookie running back there. The defense is solid. I mean, I'm going to give you Harrison Smith, that crew back there. They can play. But other than being a good home team, there's extra motivation because the Super Bowl's in Minnesota. I think Minnesota goes backwards. I don't have faith in Bradford. I have more faith in Stafford than I do in Bradford. All right, so moving on to the next division. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about out-of-conference schedule. And I tell you, I think week number 1 is going to be a real good indicator because Detroit's going to have some of the – I think the first game Detroit plays is Arizona at home, and I got that as a win. And that could be the pivotal one between – they lose that game, that could be the difference between 8-8 and 9-7. But we're going to get to that in 1 second, Westwick. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. All right, let's move forward. And this is what's going to be tough is Seattle at 10.5. I've got Seattle winning the division, and I hate Seattle. I'm not a Seahawks fan, just because I'm not a Richard Sherman fan, I guess. He's just too. I like a fair share of trash talk, but something about Sherman just strikes me the wrong way. But I'm putting my bias to the side. I do like Jimmy Graham. I do like Russell Wilson. But I got Seattle winning 11 games and taking the division. I do like David Johnson. And David Johnson may be the best running back in football. He's a beast. So the question's going to be, can Carson Palmer stay healthy? Larry Fitzgerald is a year older. Who else they have? J.J. Nelson at wide receiver. The defense, Patrick Peterson, Chandler Jones. I mean, they can hold their own. But their defense, I still think they're a slight grade below Seattle. I think Arizona's slightly below Seattle. I got the Cards coming in with 9 wins. No way, Carol. Absolutely zero chance they're going to get 13 wins. Zero. 11 is bold. Seattle is not a good road team. They were not a good road team last year. So we're going to go through the schedule here in a second. I'm going to show you some challenges. But 13 wins, I know they got Rawls and Lacey back there, but they struggled. And I don't have a lot of confidence in that wide receiving core. All right, but hold your thoughts. We'll get back to that in 1 second. Let's get to probably these next 2 divisions are going to be super, super competitive. I'm going to shock some people. So here's the Vegas totals. We'll start with the Giants. Vegas has the Giants winning 9. Philadelphia winning 8. Dallas winning 9.5. And Washington winning 7.5. 1 or 2 games can shake up that whole division. So they have Dallas winning the division. I'm not going with Dallas. I'm taking the Giants. I'm saying the Giants win the division at 10-6. The Giants are my prediction to win the NFC East at 10-6. Tommy is not going to like what I'm doing here because I know he is a diehard Philadelphia fan. Philadelphia, they shouldn't have traded their best wide receiver. Tommy, it's going to set them back. They can't win the NFC East with that team. The Giants got better. Philadelphia got worse. I want Philadelphia to be better than the Giants. But I think Eli's due for a good year. The Giants, I mean, with that revamped defense, JPP, Landon Collins, safety, you got a hard-hitting safety back there. Janoris Jenkins. I mean, the Giants with Eli and Brandon Marshall and Odell Beckham, Shane Vereen coming out of the backfield, he's got all the tools. I'm giving the Giants 10-6 and taking the Giants. No, but Angus, Eli's got 2 Super Bowl wins. And Eli can be clutch. I've got Philadelphia, Tommy, at 7 wins. And I've got Dallas and Washington coming in with 9 wins apiece. Now, why would I put Washington up there when they're 7.5? Because Washington has a very nice core of young receivers and Kirk Cousins still playing for that contract. Now, I'm not going to tell you who I think is going to get in the playoffs, but I have Washington 9-7, Dallas at 9-7. I already have Detroit at 9-7, and I have Arizona at 9-7. So it's going to be very, very interesting. All right, and this one, but you know, there's a reason that Vegas has 9, 9.5, 8, and 7.5. That's a pretty close. There's no real easy wins. Washington can very well go into New York and win. New York can go into Washington and win. Washington can go into Dallas and win. Philadelphia can go into Dallas and win. I mean, it's going to be super competitive. But we're going to talk about the schedules, and that's what the out-of-conference schedules is what's going to make some of these make or break. So we can't just pick them. We're going to go through. And I'll tell you why we're picking some of these. All right, and in the last division, this one's going to be this is the most competitive division. Atlanta, 9.5, Carolina, 8.5, New Orleans, 8, and Tampa, 8.5. Tampa just seems like they're just getting so close to being a playoff team. So my prediction, the division winner is, I can't say this too loud because Morris is here and he's a big Panther fan. Those of you watching the stream for the first time, Morris is my kitten. He loves the Panthers. So Atlanta's going to go 11-5, win the division. Carolina comes in at 10-6 and will get the first wild card spot. New Orleans gets away from their 8-8, and actually, even though I have New Orleans picked to beat the Patriots, I only got them winning 7 games. They struggle with Carolina. They'll struggle with Tampa. They're going to struggle. New Orleans is going to struggle in their own division. And I got the Bucs at 9-7. Not ready to quite make that move up to 10 wins. But this is who I got coming in at 9-7. I got Tampa, Washington, Dallas, Detroit, and Arizona for that second wild card spot. So I think it's going to be one of the most competitive NFC wild card spots of all time. And it's going to come down to a tiebreaker. But I think the average teams, okay, you got Chicago, you got San Francisco, you got the Rams. And after those 3, it's pretty good. The NFC, to me, is a little bit more structured than the AFC. I think the AFC's got more doormats. I think the Chargers are going to be a doormat. I think the Bengals are going to drop off significantly. I think the Ravens are going to drop off significantly. I think the Browns are still going to be a doormat. Buffalo is a joke. The Jets are a joke. That's why I've got the NFC so competitive. All right, so we're going to go through a few of these. I'm going to just give you real quick. I think the number 1 seed is going to be Green Bay at 12-4. The number 2 seed will be Seattle via tiebreaker over Atlanta. Atlanta, 11-5 as well. The Giants win in division at 10-6. Carolina, a wild card at 10-6. And I think the Buccaneers win the tiebreaker and get into the playoffs at 9-7. Forcing Carson Palmer to retire at 9-7. Larry Fitzgerald to retire. Arizona goes through a total revamp. Detroit wonders what it's going to take to get over the hurdle, missing out at 9-7. And Dallas thinking about what could have been if Ezekiel Elliott would have played the whole season. And Washington getting the most out of Kirk Cousins before he leaves for San Francisco. Gets out with 9 wins but doesn't make it to the playoffs. That is what we're going with. So let me go through a little bit of schedule and show you how some of these things can change relatively quickly. So week 1, here's some of the NFC matchups that are out there. So obviously when we talk Panthers and the Panthers being 10-6, potentially challenging for the division. Kelly, here is why I will tell you, with Angus and Kelly, you're both saying no playoffs for Carolina. Your first game of the season for Carolina is Buffalo at home. So out of conference schedule, is very important to these win totals. They shouldn't even play this football game. So right there, you've got one win for Carolina. Then you got the Bears and the Buccaneers. So right there, you've got a win for the Buccaneers. So that division is already starting out really, really solid. The Vikings, who I told you were going to back off a little bit, I got the Vikings coming in only 7 wins, and a couple of you guys said the Vikings will win more games. The Vikings' first game of the season is at Pittsburgh. So there's 0-1 for the Vikings. It's not a whole season, but already that should shine a light on a couple different things here. Cardinals at the Colts. Colts are going to be favored in the game. I think in the AFC prediction, I think I lean toward the Colts in a high-scoring game there. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm in week 2. I'm a step ahead of myself. Let me go back. Sorry. Okay, count those win totals. Count the win totals. Sorry. Let me start. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start with week 1. But I'm not changing those predictions. All right, starting out, NFC, we've got Cardinals on the road at the Lions. I got the Lions week number 1 getting the win there. So Cardinals start out on the road 0-1. It's going to be tough to make up from that. Bucks at the Dolphins. I got the Bucks getting a big win there. Falcons at the Bears. Falcons start out 1-0. No issue there. Eagles and Redskins. They always play within 3 points. Washington's going to be favored by 2.5. You got to take Washington at home. Eagles could win the game, but in these division games, close game, I'm going to go with the Redskins. Colts and Rams. Rams could beat the Colts at home because the Rams do have to find a way to get to 4 or 5 wins. And then everybody's happy, everybody's optimistic, everybody's down on Andrew Luck. That could be a tough one. Panthers at the 49ers. Panthers go in and take care of business. So there you go right there. Panthers are already 1-0. Seahawks at the Packers. Seahawks lose on the road. Packers, tough out-of-conference schedule, but they're playing at home. They got Seattle exactly where they want them. They get the win. Saints at the Vikings. I think the Vikings take care of business. Their defense is a little bit better, so the Vikings get that win that we were talking about. So let's move on to week number 2. I gave you about half of week number 2. I have the Saints beating the Patriots. I think the Saints start out 0-1. People give up on them. They play at home, in the Dome, high-scoring game. I predicted they'd win by a field goal. I know the Patriots are not going to run the table. So some of the losses we have to pick, this is not a popular opinion. A lot of people disagree with this. But I think Belichick against Peyton, people question the Patriots. But then I think the Patriots go in a long run. So I'm not going to dwell on that too much because I know there's a lot of Patriots fans. But I'm giving the Saints the win at home. Patriots to be about a 6-point favorite in that game. Eagles at the Chiefs. Tommy, this is why the Eagles are going to have trouble. So the Eagles go to Washington, probably lose on the road. Then they go to Kansas City and probably lose on the road. So it's not a good start to the season. Now, let me ask this question because I do want to talk about the NFC East a little bit. And you can agree or disagree, but has anybody seen the line for week 1? I'm assuming the Redskins are favored against the Eagles, correct? Am I correct in saying it? Probably 2.5 points? So the first two weeks, and this is where the Eagles are going to have trouble. They traded their best receiver, and they start out with 2 tough road games. I'm going to tell you, Philly's going to play tough at home, but it's more likely they're going to go 0-2 than to go 2-0. And Washington should beat them. Now, when Washington plays at Philly, Philly should beat them there. But that's not a good start. And I just don't see them going in Kansas City and beating Kansas City. That's a tough place to play. So I'm giving Philadelphia 0-2. Now, we're going to get some wins out here in a little bit, so don't get discouraged just yet. Cowboys at the Broncos. Cowboys ain't going to win. So, Cowboys are going to have some trouble. Washington at the Rams. Washington gets Philly at home. Probably a win. And then they're going to be favored on the road against the Rams. So this Washington total getting up to 9 is starting to look a little bit easier if they can get those first 2 wins. The Rams are a doormat. Packers at the Falcons. Falcons take care of business at home. And then the Lions at the Giants. I got to go with the Giants at home. They're going to be favorites. I'm just picking a couple of the favorites. All right, and then Thursday night game that nobody cares about. Somebody has to win. Rams at the 49ers. Who cares? One team's going to win. It's going to be one of their 5 wins. Okay, let's say the 49ers at home, and then when 49ers play at Los Angeles, it goes the other way. Steelers at the Bears. No problem for the Steelers. Saints at the Panthers. Panthers take care of business against the Saints. Saints start out 1-2. This is why I told you, I'm telling you, I got the Saints at 7 wins. They've been 8-8, 8-8, 8-8. They get a big upset at home against the Patriots, and then they go in Carolina. Everybody thinks they got a chance to go 2-1. They lose. Panthers starting out 3-0. On the roll. They are on the roll. Buccaneers at the Vikings. Tough game. Vikings take care of business at home. Bucs are still a young team, and the Vikings defense is solid. All right, we'll breeze through a couple of these. Falcons at the Lions. Think it's going to be a high-scoring game. The Falcons should win. They are the defending NFC champions. Not so fast. I'm not predicting this one, but I'm going to say it's going to be a close game. Falcons should win, but I'm not saying the Lions can win. That's a sleeper game. That's one of those games that they could pull out, that you look at and say, okay, yeah, the Lions got the win, but wasn't that big of an upset because they're playing at home. Bengals at the Packers, take the Pack. And then the Raiders at the Redskins. I have a hard time picking Washington to go 3-0. But the Raiders will not go in and dominate the game. The Raiders should win, but it'll be a close game. And the Cowboys at the Cardinals. Arizona at home on a Monday night game. I'm taking Arizona. All right, so I'm just going to highlight a few more of these because, you know, obviously we can pick it apart a little bit, but just some of the big teams that we talked about, and mainly, let me just go through the division winners that we predicted, and I'll kind of double up. But the Giants are one that, you know, I picked them to win. So the Packers get the Bears in week number 4. That's no problem. So the Packers just stay on a roll. Let's see who Seattle is playing. The Lions and the Vikings. I mean, they pretty much have knockdown dragouts there. Vikings should win at home, keeping them, you know, kind of in the mix there. The Colts go to Seattle. They have no chance on Sunday night. So Seattle rolling right along. And then you got the Giants and the Buccaneers. I'm going to have a hard time picking that, but yes, the Buccaneers will be favored, so let's go with the Bucs. And then Washington goes to Kansas City on Monday night. Washington can't win at Kansas City. And there's going to be a whole lot of Native American protest groups going on out there for that game. That's really going to be some media news there. All right, we're up to week 5. Patriots at the Bucs. Patriots on Thursday night. Go down and take care of the Bucs. So this is what we talked about. A lot of people saying that the Bucs are going to get to those 10 wins. This is a very tough out-of-conference game. So let's look at who the Bucs are playing out of their division right now. So the Bucs are going to get the Giants. The Giants are not a doormat. The Bucs might have one of the toughest schedules. Strength of schedule is important. But you go back-to-back weeks where they should beat the Giants, but what if they don't? What if Eli just heats up and torches the Bucs? and then Brady comes in and torches them. That's a rough stretch of games right there. Tommy, that's why I think the Saints game is going to be such a wake-up call. I think the Saints beat the Pats early, and then that just sets the tone for the rest of the season. Then they just start running the table. And I think they'll learn not to take Tampa lightly because they're going to take the Saints lightly. Panthers at the Lions. The Lions have some tough games, but they do have some of these tough games at home. Cardinals at the Eagles. Eagles get that big win. Everybody's going to say, what's wrong? Eagles lost 3 games. Now they get that big win against the Cardinals. Seattle at the Rams. No problems there. And Packers at the Cowboys. Aaron Rodgers goes in, takes care of business again. Packers start out undefeated. Cowboys start pointing the finger. And Vikings at the Bears. Bears upset the Vikings. They get one of their few wins of the season at home. They got 2 stud running backs. So I just say that the Bears just pound the ball over and over again. They figure they're going to play slow and boring. Packers at the Vikings. Always a tough game. Lions at the Saints. In week number 6. Giants at the Broncos. There you go. There's your Giants' strength of schedule getting a little tougher. That's going to be a loss for the Giants. Eagles at the Panthers. Tommy, you guys are done. You know, I'm going to stop with the Eagles. I got the Eagles literally at like 1-5. There's another tough road game out of your division. Look at who they're playing. So Eagles go down to Carolina, and they don't win in Carolina on a Thursday night. There's another loss. And then here's Washington. 49ers at Washington. So Washington gets this cake schedule because they're playing the Rams and the 49ers, and the Eagles are playing like Carolina and Kansas City. So that's a 2-win swing right there. Bucks at the Cardinals. Cardinals have to win that game to salvage their season and to stay in the hunt. And I think they do. Week 7, Saints at the Packers. Panthers at the Bears. There's another win. Easy schedule for Carolina. Cowboys at the Niners. That's an easy win there. And then Falcons at the Patriots. Sorry, Falcons. And then you got Washington at Philly. Washington will come in at like 4-1. Philly will look terrible. Philly will get the win. It's the way they always do, right? Everybody will be high on Washington and say, look, you know, they're doing so well because they had a cake schedule the first 5 games. Philly had a tough schedule, and then Philly beats them and starts to turn their season around. Vikings at the Browns, pretty easy win there. Panthers at the Bucks. I mean, those divisional games are going to be tough. And there you go. So see, then the Eagles get the 49ers. So the Eagles start to get that cake schedule. So the Eagles beat Washington. They get their momentum. Then they beat the 49ers. So they're going to start to even this thing out. All right, so we are going to, you guys, we went through about half the schedule right here. Let me get to the end of the season because I want to get to like the last couple weeks and just see which games the last 2 weeks are going to mean something, and then I'm going to get some of your predictions. So I'm going to go up to week 15. So in week 15, here's some of the matchups from the big division games. Sunday, December 17th, the Eagles at the Giants. That's something that we're going to, if the Eagles start to get a little bit of that momentum, they're going to need to go in and beat the Giants to get to that 8-8, possibly. Cardinals at Washington. Tough game. Not going to predict it yet. Packers at the Panthers. That's going to be a battle of division leaders at that point. If Aaron Rodgers is healthy, you have to assume the Packers are going to get the job done. Jets at the Saints, easy win for the Saints. Rams at the Seahawks, easy way to end the season. And Monday night game, Falcons at the Buccaneers. That's going to be a big division game in Week 15. And then, let's see, Week 16. Anything jump out here? Bucks at the Panthers. Falcons and Saints probably won't mean much. Broncos at Washington. Washington will need that to keep their playoff hopes alive. Seahawks at the Cowboys. Raiders at the Eagles. And let's wrap it up. Last week of the season, Packers and the Lions. Westwick, that's going to put the Lions out of commission officially. If the Lions win that game, maybe they could get 10 wins and sneak in. But I think the Packers will still be playing for home field advantage at that point. Saints at the Bucks. Saints are only get 7 wins. Bucks get that win, and that puts them at 9 wins in my opinion. And the Giants and the Redskins. Washington playing at New York. Could be for the division. Giants take care of business and win the division. And Cardinals at Seahawks I don't think will mean very much. So that's kind of what I got. So I'm going to open it up. Anything just from talking about the schedule that made you change your mind? Just going through some of the highlights there. So let me start again. Based on a couple of those games that we called out, we pretty much unanimously had Green Bay as a division winner. I got them at 12-4. One last chance to make your prediction. You can change it from the first one. So I'm going to ask you, Green Bay, everybody, once again, if it's the same, it's the same. Give me your Green Bay win total. This is the 99 Sports. 999, I left out one. 999 Sports. Some people say, well, like when I say it so fast and I don't get all 3. Well, I actually only said 2 there. Official prediction video of the NFC. So give me your Green Bay total once again. I'm going to stay at 12-4. Steve's got Tampa coming in at 13-3. Angus 12-4. Steph coming in at 12-4. Westwick 11-5. Tommy 12 wins for Green Bay. And remember, we're going to come back. We're going to compare notes once again. I was so close on that McGregor fight. That's why predictions are so fun. Carroll coming in at 12-4. Okay. Sorry, Steve, did I say Tampa? All right, Steve's got Green Bay coming in at 13-3. All right, just really quick, give me your Minnesota and Detroit win totals. I read through some of the schedule. I'm going to stay. These teams could be potentially battling. The reason I'm going to ask you for both, they could both be battling for a wild card spot. I'm going to stay with Detroit at 9-7. I don't think they get in the wild card. I think they lose a tiebreaker. But I just read some of the schedule and some of the matchups Detroit has at home. I think it's favorable for them. I'm still going to say Detroit 9-7, and I'm going to say Minnesota struggles with Bradford at quarterback. Chip's got Minnesota 7-9, Detroit at 8-8. Steve Huffman, Minnesota 10-6. That's a little high in my opinion for that schedule. Detroit 9-7. So Steve's got Minnesota edging out Detroit. I'm probably going to be the minority here. Not a lot of people are putting faith in the Lions. Westwick's got them 7-9. And he's got the Vikes at 6-10 though. Tommy's got Detroit 9-7 right there with me, Minnesota. There could be some Viking fans, and I know there's incentive because of the Super Bowl. I just looking over the schedule, I just don't know where they're going to get a lot of these wins. Chicago, yes. I'm giving you 2 wins against Chicago. And 1 win at home against Detroit. But the other ones are going to be tough. They are going to be knockdown dragouts, and I just don't have that faith in Bradford. First, I don't have the faith that Bradford can stay healthy. All right, moving on to the next division. Seattle. I had Seattle coming in at 11-5. So based on the schedule, got a couple tough out of conference games. One of those games Seattle has at Green Bay on the road. I'm going to keep Seattle 11-4. I'm not changing it. I'm sorry, 11-5. Maybe they'll be 11-4-1. Chip's got Seattle 11-5. Keep in mind, Seattle's just not a good road team. But they do get San Francisco on the road, the Rams on the road. They're probably going to lose at Arizona. And it'll probably be like 12-9, like it always is. Steve's got 11-5. Angus got Seattle 9-6-1. There's no way they can be that low. Angus, they played the Rams twice, and they played the 49ers twice. Westwick has the Seahawks 11-5. Cards, if healthy, could go 10-6. I have the Cards at 9-7. In that big pack of teams clawing to get that second wild card spot. Seattle 10-6. Another Seattle 10-6. Kelly, Tommy. All right. Here it is, NFC East. I'm not just going to ask you for your prediction. Some people said Philly, some people said Dallas, some people said Washington, some people said the Giants. Give me your division winner and tell me how many wins. I'm staying with the Giants at 10-6. So, pick who you think's going to win that division and give me their win total. Carroll's got Seattle at 10-6. Tommy's got Arizona at 8-8. Steve's got the Cards at 10-6, if healthy. So Chip has got the Giants coming in 11-5 and Dallas at 10-6. So he does have the Giants winning the division. You know when the Giants are dangerous? Is when nobody picks them. So Steve is going with Dallas at 10-6, winning the tiebreaker against the Giants. Angus saying the Eagles are going to surprise everybody and win the division at 9-7. Tommy is picking the Eagles at 9-7. Westwick says the Giants take it at 10-6 because Elliott misses 6 games. Giants at 11-5. I think 11 is a little aggressive, but they're going to have to go in and beat Dallas at Dallas in order to do that. All right, and let's pick the last division. I've got Atlanta at 11-5. I'm going to stay with it. And I got Carolina with 10 wins. I showed you guys a schedule. Carolina, write this down right now. This is going to be my bold prediction. Carolina starts out the season 5-0. And people forget just 2 years ago, they dominated 2 years ago. And they could very well win the division. They could roll off 11 wins. Solid tight end play. The defense is still suspect. Cam Newton is going to be protected better. Christian McCaffrey, they got somebody coming out of the backfield. Westwick is going Falcons 12-4. Panthers 11-5. Oh, hang on. Scratch my bold prediction then. Well, that's a loss, Chip. Carolina plays New England week 4. Bold prediction revamp. Carolina starts out 4-1. How about that? But that's enough momentum. Atlanta 12-4. So looks like the consensus is the Falcons. But I'm seeing some people got Carolina picked as a wild card team. So I'm seeing some of these 11-5. All right, so here we go. the last part of this video, and then we'll start to wind it down. Give me your 2 wild card teams. I'm going with Carolina and Tampa Bay. I'm giving you guys your Tampa Bay, but I'm only giving it to you via tiebreaker over Dallas, Washington, Detroit, and Arizona. Tampa gets in. Angus, why do I have a feeling you and Tommy are both from Pennsylvania? Steve Huffman has Tampa and the Giants as wild cards. Tommy has Atlanta and Seattle as the wild cards. Tommy, who did you have winning the division? Did you have Arizona winning the division? Seattle as a wild card? Kel says, no way. Have you ever been to Tampa? There's hardly any fans and we can't sell out our games. That's going to change this year. There's some excitement, at least around the league. Westwick has the Panthers and the Cards, but the Cowboys could knock off the Cards. Angus going with Atlanta and Tampa and Seattle. I just want to point out just a couple things here. Who remembers from the start of this video which team, here's a quiz for you guys. Which team does Vegas have with the highest win total in the NFC? Let's see who all was paying attention. Because I get it, some people they're predicting with their heart. Incorrect, Angus. Incorrect, Steve. Not Carolina. Not Green Bay. The NFC team that Vegas has to win the most games. Not Green Bay, Tommy. This is what's shocking. It's not Atlanta. All right, here, I'm gonna give you guys a refresher, not Green Bay. Vegas has Seattle over under 10.5 games. So they have them 2.5 games ahead of Arizona. I know anything can happen, but keep in mind, Seattle plays the Rams twice and the 49ers twice, and at least Arizona once at home. So there's 5 wins in the books, guaranteed, for Seattle. So Vegas is saying they're going to win 10.5 games, and Vegas has them as the NFC favorite. Hey, I'm not going to dispute, but I'm telling you, these guys are experts. So Vegas has the number 2 seeded team as Green Bay at 10 wins. And we all predict a little bit higher. So for Seattle not to make the playoffs is impossible. I'm going to tell you, I can't legally bet on YouTube. Anyone that would, let me put it this way. If you guys want to send me a message on Kick, I would give anyone here 2-to-1 odds on any amount. If you said it was even whether Seattle would make the playoffs or not make the playoffs. So if someone came up to me and said, Tell you what, let's put a wager. I would double that amount, give them 2-to-1 odds. That's how confident I am with this line. Even if they have injury, even if something happens, they are the class of their division. And I don't like them. I'm not a Seattle fan. I'll go on the record as saying that. But it would be one of the biggest upsets in National Football League history if the team that is predicted to win the NFC does not even make the playoffs. And I even like them over 10.5. I like them to win 11, maybe 12 games. So that's how I would be shocked if they only won 10 games. All right. So we got the one thing about sports is really awesome is there's some bold predictions out there. Now keep in mind this video will be saved in YouTube history, so we'll be able to go back. If you guys could do me, well, with their style of defense, Westwick, yes, if they lost Russell Wilson, it would be a major problem. If they lost him early, absolutely. And anything could happen. You know, it'd kind of be saying that with almost any team. But Thomas Rawls, Eddie Lacy, two-headed monster, decent receivers, but their defense keeps them in games. And you can't beat them at Seattle. Steve, we might have to do a separate video on college football and talk about that. All right, real quick, and we're going to end this video with this. So a couple things. One, let me make a couple announcements, and then we're going to get to that in 1 second, Steve, because I will ask you that question. When this video goes live, you can just kind of leave in the comments just your division winners, your predictions, so people can see it that log on. A lot of people are going to be watching the playback of this video. So I want to thank all you guys for being here, part of the sports channel, the sports debate. It's ramping up. We're going to get some different titles. We'll do some college football. Just a couple more announcements. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting all of the channels that we have. We do gaming streams and video games and pack openings and comic book reads and spoilers and The Walking Dead and soon to be the Game of Thrones. And now we're really putting a lot of effort into this transitioning over. If you guys got a topic you want to talk about, send it to me at KILZHOT. I would love to talk about what you guys want to talk about. So, I mean, you guys are extremely loyal to this channel and everything that we're trying to do with it. So I appreciate it. I can't explain how important you guys are to me. Also, we got the 999 spoiler chat. That's going to start to ramp up as we get closer to Walking Dead. And I saw that several of you have already signed up. I don't have a video posted yet for 999 Comics, but there's a few people already subscribed to that. So if you guys get a chance, get over there and subscribe to it. There will be content on there, hopefully by the end of the week. You're going to get some more in-depth comic book reads, some more theories, some more volume predictions, whether it's Walking Dead, could be some Game of Thrones graphic novel type of reads. I know there's some different things out there. As we get further and further into it, and other suggestions with that as well too. So just want to say thanks and appreciate the moderators being here, Tommy, Kel, Steph popping in, really kind of setting the tone, and all of you guys that are part of this channel. As we develop more channels, 999 Comics, if you're hardcore comic fans and you'd like to be a moderator on the 999 Comic channel, send me a message on Kick as well too, because I'm going to be looking for a couple moderators to jump in there as well too. So we'll have the regular ones that sort of control the chat, but we're going to do some live streams of comic books as well. So I know we're all over the place, but thank you so much for everything that you guys do. So a couple quick shout outs, and I'll do the shout outs while you guys leave your predictions. Alabama or Florida State. I'm going to say Bama in a very, very close game. 27-24. Bama. Write it down, 27-24. Give me your prediction, score, and who you think is going to win. And just want to say thanks to Carol McFry, Steve Huffman, Angus Johnson. Appreciate you being here. Westwick 88. Thanks for all the insight. Your Lions will do it, Westwick. I saw Kel in the house as well. Kel, did you get your regular name back? Steve is saying Bama's going to roll this weekend. Kel is going with Bama because she just doesn't like FSU because she's a Gator fan. Westwick is taking Bama. Tommy is going with Bama. Carol McFry going with Bama. Chip's like, I hate both teams because you want Clemson. Chip's just pulling for Clemson. Doesn't matter. Tommy going 31-24 Bama. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate all of you guys being part of the stream. Sorry about some of the technical difficulties. I think when I turned off about 3 of the devices, the stream was pretty much non-interrupted from that point on. So Kelly, go Lonzenier, thanks for being here as well. All of you guys sort of tuning in, and we'll try to get some of the technical stuff ironed out for the next couple streams that we do. Thanks once again, and send me your thoughts, send me your ideas for what you guys want to talk about on the sports channel. Talk to you soon. Peace.